Hello and welcome back to the Lamenters. We're here with almost everyone. And at the tail end of the last episode, the group that had crossed the bridge and gone up the eastern bank of the river had found the boat and had found Katarina DeWitt had been killed, but no candlestick in her possession. So they returned swiftly. And when you got back, you discovered that Karamina Nicolo had been captured at the bridge by none other than Claude and Leonard. So now there are 3 people tied up. Hans and Anna are tied up, as well as Karamina Nicolo. So how did that happen? Well, Claude and Leonard, while you guys were keeping an eye on the prisoners and kind of keeping an eye out on the river, you spied a small skiff moving down the river towards you. And readying an attack, you very quickly fashioned a long noose with your rope and waited for the moment and threw it down, and you were able to lasso Karamina and then quickly pull her up. She struggled for a bit, but then seemed to comply once she saw Leonard aiming his crossbow at her. So she surrendered. You tied her up, hands behind her back, and sat her down right next to Anna and Hans. One thing that you noticed was that there didn't seem to be any recognition. In other words, you didn't see like Anna or Hans react to her as if they knew her. And likewise, she didn't seem to recognize them. They were just kind of looking at each other. Just as you kind of get her secured, you hear the sounds of horses crossing the bridge towards you, and you see your friends having returned. So you were all there. As you ride up, you kind of see this group of 3 captured prisoners tied up. You see Leonard and Claude and Critter kind of confidently looking at you guys and at the prisoners.
Well, we got somebody running through here.
Well, I'll get off my horse and walk over and say, well, who do we got here?
Yeah, we got some presents for you all.
You notice that Karamina kind of looks up at the rest of the group. I forgot, the bridge keeper is also there, and he's like, he has like a lantern on a post, so you can actually see pretty well. Karamina looks up at the rest of the group as they arrive, and she just kind of does sort of a smirk and sort of a bow as if she was acknowledging them.
Might as well come on up here.
So the prisoners are all seated, like on the ground, and with Critter, Claude, and Leonard like directly covering them. So you guys are on horseback as you approach.
Does she have any bags or anything with her?
She is wearing the same like silky kind of southern style clothes, but she has like an overcloak for warmth. You don't see any bags on her, but she may have other things amongst her clothing.
Wouldn't we already have searched them as we tied them up?
Do you?
And basically taken their possessions away?
Okay, let's say that you did. Amongst her possessions, you found a belt pouch. 2 belt pouches. One belt pouch has silver, like probably 50 pieces of silver. The other belt pouch has gold, and 50 pieces of gold, which is a lot. I mean, nowhere near the legendary treasure trove that you guys are hauling around, but it's more than adequate for a person to be able to move around and have accommodations and so forth.
And ripes and
Yeah. You also find in a pocket of her overcloak a candlestick. And it does not look ornate or fancy. Looks very simple, quite frankly.
Any markings?
As you look at it, and you look at the bottom of the candlestick, you notice a like etched into the wood, very artistically, is a what looks like a lightning bolt.
That's a maker's mark.
did you say candlestick or candle holder?
The candlestick, like the
part of
candlestick.
burns.
Yeah.
Okay.
The,
That's a regular white.
and you look at the base of it as you're looking at this lightning bolt underneath it. You look at the base of it, and you see that it seems to be about the same size as the mark on the mantle of Lord Lee's fireplace in his office.
Yeah.
So, is this Vincenzo Nicolo's maker's mark?
You don't know.
Carmina?
All right. So if you're asking her, sorry, there's one more thing, obviously.
Oh, okay,
also
sorry.
that she has. In addition to her clothing, she is also wearing the ring.
Hey, Liber, grab the ring.
As you ask Karamina about the candlestick, she says, Maker's mark. Is that the Maker's mark? She says, well, I suppose in a manner of speaking that it is. And then she smiles in a way that makes you maybe feel slightly uncomfortable.
Bill.
Yeah.
Can I cast a spell?
Oh, no. What spell is this?
As Oldrad.
Because I'm kind of hanging out, and so I'm kind of hanging out in the back a little bit, and I'm just kind of looking around. So we're on a bridge, you said earlier.
Yes.
I just want to take
on the
a look.
Bridge. You're on the just the area right behind the bridge next to the guard shack.
And there's like a road and forest.
Yeah,
on that side.
there's a short, like probably 50-foot long dirt road that leads back to the north road, the big road that goes north south, and then there's forest beyond that to the west, and then the river to your east.
So I'm looking that way, which I presume is away from everybody else, and I just kind of put my hands together and I just say, Peshwick, please illuminate what is chaos. And then I cast Detect Evil, Detect Evil. So that does some stuff. Allows the caster to know if anything that is within their field of vision or on his person is chaotic. For the purposes of that spell, chaotic is defined as, but not limited to, undead creatures, any extra-dimensional or extra-planar creatures, not specifically powers of law or angels, any creatures that with innate magic abilities, including magic users, but not clerics, artifacts, symbols, or sacred places dedicated to evil gods, supernatural creatures incapable of being good.
Good Lord, that's a big list.
Welcome to not the full spell.
Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Okay, so a couple
curiously,
things.
The spell does not detect magical items or effects.
So it's not detecting magic, but didn't you say something about
chaos?
Artifacts
it detects
or
chaos.
Something?
Yes, artifacts. Yes, that was one.
Well. Okay, so Karamina Nicolo is a magic user.
Yes.
You sense that she has arcane power.
Mhm.
You also sense chaos from her aura.
Mhm.
And last but not least, you sense that her ring is an artifact.
Mhm.
Also chaotic.
Yes.
And the candlestick is an artifact. Also chaotic. Make
One
a
more
wisdom,
question.
Make a wisdom roll under to
Yes.
discern what Oldrad would maybe infer from these clues.
Yes. I'll have one more question after this roll too. I met my wisdom. So
Okay.
18.
So you have not cast this spell in a way that's ever revealed these things to you.
Correct.
You have no memory of why you know this spell. Now make an intelligence roll under.
Okay. One question. The sword I'm wearing, does it glow?
Yes. It
Chaos?
also ooh. It reveals itself as an artifact.
Okay.
But it doesn't show you magic. It's an artifact.
I hate it when you ask me for these intelligence rolls. I failed miserably.
Okay, then I stand with what I said. You have no memory of casting this spell and discovering anything like what you just did. And you also aren't really sure why you know this spell.
Right.
You just know that you know it.
Yeah.
Did any of the stuff that we were carrying, wearing, trigger him? Get triggered by him?
I don't think so. Not having access to your full inventories. I'll put it to you this way. If you have anything that you think might be special on your inventory or on your person, you can tell me and I can tell Oldrad if those things resonate with any specific aura.
I think the weird disc would look at you. Thanks.
Do you? Yeah. So Leonard, you are in possession of the discs. Do you bring those out?
It's just in the back, so
Okay.
he sees it.
Yeah. I would
Has to be in
say
my
that the
field of
disc-
vision.
So yeah, he has to actually see it. It can't be in a container or hidden.
Okay. Okay.
So would Leonard bring those out?
Do we really know if
if he
he's
will-
casting?
So here's the other thing. It's not like I made a big show of casting this
Yeah,
spell, so
that's
I don't want you to
Yeah.
meta like.
So it
pulling
should
this
only
crap out,
be-
you know.
Yeah, it should only be things that are within your field of vision. So
That's-
actually, there is one thing that's definitely in your field of vision because she specifically said she was wearing it. And
Yeah.
that is the frog clasp that is on Sarah's cloak.
Yeah.
Right? Because she said she was wearing it. So you see that.
Yeah.
And it also resonates as chaotic.
Jesus.
Not as an artifact, but as chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did I just see anything like out in the road? I kind of did this too, like this. I want to see if there's any chaos like watching us.
No, there is nothing within
Okay.
the field of vision.
Cool.
You don't sense any of those effects.
Okay.
As we're standing there,
Yeah.
Bivoj is just looking at the captives and among his friends and okay guys, who's this? And I point towards the lady.
Let
Well,
me introduce you.
It looks like you're acquaintances.
Karamina, Nicolo. This is Bivoj, Boarhunter. Bivoj, this is Karamina Nicolo.
Bivoj. That is a strong name.
Thank you, my lady. I've never heard yours.
She says, well, unless you happen to live in Southport, you probably wouldn't have. My family is from the South.
I've worked there for a time. Mostly with different kinds of animals.
She says, how quaint.
Thank you, my lady.
I want to ask you, Lady Nicolo, now that you're in the position you're in, I would like you to take off your ring and hand it to me. And I hold out my hand.
She says, well, that gentleman, and she refers to Claude, took all of my possessions.
Oh. I look at her hands to make sure.
Claude has the ring and the candlestick and her pouches.
Okay.
She says, might I inquire as to what your intention is?
Well, that's up to these guys.
We need to find a missing possession of Lord Lee right now, so and also bring him some answers. And then how it goes.
She says, well, the only missing possession that I can fathom would be perhaps the boat that I was on until it had been attacked. She says, I'm not sure that I was in possession of anything that would have been considered Lord Lee's property. Everything that was in my possession was the property of my family. And I can provide documentation of that.
I understand. So this is a maker's mark of someone from your family.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Unfortunate. Well, I can suggest we take her back to Lee Castle so she can answer for her
at least intrusion into the Lord's.
She says, I never intruded into Lord Lee's castle. I never stepped.
Oh, but we know who did. We know who did.
She's like, that is not my affair.
Yeah, well, she was with you, and you seem.
There were
maybe
other
you
people
have some
with me as well. She says there were many sailors on that boat who were killed.
Look, we're not going to get anywhere like this. You are obviously a very intelligent woman, and I admire that. We're just, I think we should take her back to Lee Castle.
One moment, let me just speak with her for a moment. And I want to step forward and I place my hand on her shoulder. And I said, please tell us the truth. And as I do it, I want to cast command.
Damn it. What? Does she get a saving throw?
She does get a saving throw.
Okay.
If her intelligence is over 12, she gets a saving throw.
Yes. All right, here goes. No.
Yes!
3 is not going to be good enough. Please tell us the truth, right?
Emphasis on please.
You see the effect of the spell overcome her. Her eyes kind of become open. Her face takes on kind of a neutral visage as she looks up at you, mesmerized by your spell. And she says, I am acquiring all of the candlesticks for the ritual.
What ritual?
The ritual to summon the old gods.
How many candlesticks are there and how many are left to acquire?
There are 6. We have 4,
Including this one?
including this one.
Ask her if it's agenda of the Empire.
Is this the agenda of the Empire?
No, the Empire doesn't know about us or what we are doing. They are simply a means to an end.
Does this have anything to do with the I forgot what it's called? The Great Storms?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
How long does this spell last?
I don't know if it's held. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Not the cast must be able to speak. When it which obeys the ability to the single word must make sense.
Is there a duration? Is it for? Because in Lamentations, there's rounds and turns.
Yeah.
So
No caster.
it could just be limited to one response.
Okay. I'm trying to. I know the caster must be able to speak the language.
Duration's 1 round.
Oh, sorry, the top. Yeah, duration 1 round.
Okay. She seems to snap out of it as you ask that final question, and she
Okay.
looks at you and she says, "Very clever, priest."
Just by any chance, my lady, do you know somebody with the similar ring as yours, just with the crescent shape on it? It looks like a big burly man.
Am I here? Can I be here? Because I got some shit to say.
Yeah, you're there. You're there. She smiles at you, Bivoj, away again in a way that makes you feel uneasy.
It looks like she's done answering questions for today.
She's like, "Oh no, I'm happy to answer your questions, but I think that this is going to lead to the same result, regardless of what answers I give you." She says,
Who's the head of
"You
your
see,
organization?"
I have no intention of returning to Lee Castle. There's no point to that. I have documentation in Southport of my family's claims of ownership to these candlesticks. And I have the full support of the Empire. So if you truly want to see the Borderlands become part of the Empire, but by all means, interfere with my plans." She looks over towards Hans and Anna, and she says, "I'm going to assume that you were the ones who was escorting Katarina?" And Hans just nods. And she says, well, then it's just that much clearer to me now." She says, "Unfortunately, Katarina's service to the Empire will no longer be possible. Your attack on the boat sealed that off."
I'm sorry, my lady. I'm a very good hunter.
Apparently. It was an excellent shot.
Thank you, my lady.
But as I said, I will need to return to Southport and continue. And this candle will be going with me to Southport.
Just a question, my lady. And I'm sorry to speak bluntly, but if you don't want the Borderlands to be part of the Empire, why the secrecy? I'm pretty sure.
She says the Borderlands are not my concern. I don't care what the Empire does. I also don't care about Lee Castle and what happens to the people of the Borderlands.
It's just that you suggested that those circumstances might lead to Empire get hold of the Borderlands, and as the matter of fact, my family was from Borderlands, and yes, we were, and I look on my peers, we were the followers of the old gods, yes, in secrecy, but I'm pretty sure if you tell the Lord Lee, he would gladly give you that. Maybe to explain the situation.
She says, I don't believe that the current Lord Lee even knows the significance of this. And if his father did, well...
What is the candlestick made out of? Can we tell?
It's made out of wood. Seems
I like to
very
try to
simple,
burn it.
not ornate.
I'd like to try to burn it.
Okay.
Wait. Wasn't it described as metal, plain metal?
Yeah, the gray metal that turns green in the fire.
So this one's entirely wood.
You can, it starts to like char.
Okay. All right, I got it. Claude.
Should we really be burning Lord Lee's belongings?
No.
So I think you shouldn't do that, priest.
Claude,
Okay.
what's
What
the
is it, Sarah?
penalty for aiding and abetting a robbery of a lord's manor or castle?
That's a pretty stiff penalty.
I think we have established probable cause. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, a little simpler than that.
She smiles again and she says, well, if you insist on returning...
And
to
if
the
you
castle-
do have the paperwork, what's to hurt you going back, showing it to Lord Lee, and then he can release you? But you didn't
Certainly.
have to steal it. You didn't have to have someone steal it, for cripe's sakes. You're a noble. He was wondering why you didn't come to visit him.
She says, well, I suppose there are choices to be made. She says, on the one hand, you have a choice to either release me and allow me to go return to Southport, or you may take me back to Lee Castle, where I will have to face Lord Lee and his judgment ultimately.
By the way, how did she react as he put it into the fire and tried to burning it? No reaction out of her,
Reaction. Nope.
Did anyone search the skiff?
Yeah, I'll say that the skiff is, it's down below, but they pulled it up onto the shore.
Yeah. It's been a while between capturing them and you guys rolling up, so as we tie them up, we would have had time to, like I said, search the persons, search the skiff, surroundings.
She says, so it is the middle of the night. Are we riding back to Lee Castle, or are you going to release me?
I have one more question. So when we examined the site of the burned ship, we noticed that there were 4 sets of larger than female, probably male footprints leading off into the forest.
She says, well, I'm I'm assuming that you're talking about the surviving sailors. She's like, I don't know them. I don't know how many of them lived. It was dark.
How about Jeffrey?
But I got off the skiff. I got off the ship before.
Why didn't you bring Jeffrey with you?
She says, well, I mean, not to be cruel, but it's rather easy to hire mercenaries as escorts and bodyguards. She says, Jeffrey and the others, hold no personal attachment for me.
So,
I still don't get it.
hang on. So, there were the crewmen on the ship. We identified those. We ascertained that 4 people came up by the helm. And that was you, Katerina, and 2 other larger people who we saw them. They were some kind of guards. So there were 4 other individuals on that ship somewhere. I know that all of those on the deck of the ship had been accounted for. So these 4 others, where did they come from? Were they waiting for you there?
She says, I don't think there was anybody. The boat wrecked on a uninhabited side of the eastern shore of the river. I don't think anybody was there. I think whoever must have gotten off the boat must have been surviving sailors. She says this very matter-of-factly.
And how many crew were on the ship when
You can check that in the doc in the
Okay.
recounter.
Say that again, Leonard.
We can check the crew in the who was on the crew in the doc in the recounter. The guy was preparing the ship should know. Or the guy we met in the harbor.
Meanwhile, Critter and I are starting to circle the area, take a little bit bigger perimeter and secure the area.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oldrad,
Well,
Yes.
you feel like her responses to Sarah's line of inquiry were not truthful.
Mm-hmm. I step forward. She's tied up, right?
Yes.
I step forward and I just kind of pick her up. I got pretty good strength with one arm, and I just start dragging her towards the edge of the lake or the stream.
She's like, what are you doing? She's kind of like trying to resist.
Drowning.
Brad, that's not necessary.
It is.
I
Shush,
don't
shush,
even
Sarah.
respond. I don't respond to anybody.
Okay.
I just drag her over there.
Your way.
Oh, Brad, no.
And then we get about I don't know, like knee deep in the water,
Okay.
and I just hold her there. You should start speaking honestly.
She's like, you would drown me? Is that your intent, noble sir? But then you wouldn't have your answers.
I lean down to her ear. I am no noble, and I just push her head under the water.
Okay. All right. She resists. And how long do you
course.
hold her under the water?
I'd say a good 20 seconds at least.
Okay. She resists, water's splashing. You guys look down. The bridge keeper's still holding his lantern, and he's like looking back and forth at all of you and then like looking down at what's happening. You bring her out and she gasps for air. She's completely soaked. And she looks at you shivering because the water's cold. It's nighttime and
Yeah.
She looks at you shivering and she says, "You will never get the candlestick. They're already far, far through the forests."
I lean down again and say, I'll bring them back myself. And I just dunk her head again and I just hold it.
She's thrashing and
I
splat.
turn to Liber. Why does Oldrad can have all the fun? I wanted to have the fun as well.
How long do you hold her this time?
30 seconds.
Until
Okay.
she stops scratching.
I didn't say that.
Liber,
Yes.
as a priest, you need to make an intelligence roll under.
Seven. So I'm one over.
There's something about drowning someone that jogs sort of a hazy memory, not a complete memory. But you feel like something having to do with submerging someone in water as a means of getting a confession has to do with something in the Church of the One True God, but you can't quite put your finger on why you're thinking of this as you're seeing it.
Okay.
Oldrad, when you pull her up this time, she gasps for air again. She says, fine, I'll answer your questions.
I wait.
From this cold river. What questions do you have?
Start slowly going back onto land.
She says, Jeffrey and the other three got off the boat. They have the real candlestick.
Thank you.
They will be heading back to Southport, with or without me. That is their mission. She says, but I do not speak falsely when I say that those candlesticks are my family's possessions. And I do have documentation. In our family's manor in Southport, I can prove that they are my family's possessions. The Lees should never have had them, just like the other families should never have had them. They were stolen and kept from us. She says, you of all people should understand. The one true God is not the only God. Side note, for all of you who live in Doreguteon, what she just said is, without a doubt, absolute blasphemy. And in some cases, punishable by death. Just making that clear. And as Oldrad brings her back up to you guys, she's just totally soaked, shivering from the cold. Her hair's just, flat. She says, it may be hard for you to understand, but it is the truth. There are other gods, and they are real. She says, I know this must seem blasphemous, but I can prove it.
Okay, so far we know that much already. Like, you're practically not telling us anything new. Our priest and Oldrad, they can tell you.
Perhaps.
What happened to the old gods?
Look, the lady is shivering. Let's take her inside and continue this inside. Let's take
Do you think she would be so
Anne and-
hospitable when she calls upon her old gods to end this world?
well,
She says, I can't. And that's not what I want. We don't want this world to end. She says, don't you want to know? She looks at all of you this time. She says, don't you want to understand what happened to you?
first, I think there should be some comfort being given after all of this. So can we take this conversation indoors and maybe a little more private? I look at the guy holding the lantern.
Bridgekeeper like jingles his key on his belt and nods.
Are you good? I asked the bridgekeeper.
He said, "Yes, I'll stoke the fire." He's like, "I'm sure there's still some cinders. I'll get the fire going." And he walks over to his cottage.
Before we settle down, remember the candlestick is on its way already. Do we want to catch up to the candlestick, or do we want to wait?
That's something I wanted to address before we really slow this down more.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of those battle-ats.
I'm going to suggest we do the smart thing and split the party. I'm going to go after the candlestick. Whoever wants to stay can stay.
I think we should take her with us and have the conversation on the go.
Well,
Does
we
everybody
can
wanna
leave
do
her
that?
here with the bridge guard, and
Anna goes,
eventually some soldiers will show up.
Anna goes, "Hey, what about all of us? What about me and Hans?
You're
they're
staying
still here.
Well, what the hell are we supposed to do?"
Have
She says,
You haven't-
"We didn't steal nothing. I told
Yeah.
you everything that y'all wanted to know.
well, you were an accessory to the crime, so
You're just making up words now. You're full of it."
yeah, I probably am. I probably am. Have you guys been paid for your?
No, they haven't. And I honestly
They
don't
haven't.
care anymore about these two, and I'm leaving.
Well, I care a little. I mean,
Okay.
Okay,
I got this bowl from Anna.
roll call. Who is going to pursue the 4 men? Raise your hand.
I haven't decided yet.
Well, I would say just leave the 3 here with the bridge guard.
we
Eventually,
should all go,
some
whether we
soldiers
take her
will
or
show
not.
up. We can leave a note.
Okay, so I'm hearing a couple options. One option is leave all 3 of the prisoners here with the guard, tied up. And then the other option, as Liber put forth, was to take Karamina with you guys.
First off, let me ask these guys, how much were you owed for this job?
50 gold.
Oh,
Well, and
there
we
seems
were-
to be 50
we were
gold
gonna
right here
split
in this
that-
bag.
She says, we were going to split that between me and Hans and Franz, but y'all killed Franz.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, we have this
Bag of 50 gold.
bag here with 50 gold in it.
She
that
said,
we got
y'all give
from,
us 50 gold and we're going to run away and hopefully never see y'all again. And
Okay,
hopefully y'all have a great life.
Franz, are you able to travel with your injuries?
Hans is like, I will manage. Perhaps when we get to Ingner, I will rest and recuperate before continuing south to south.
Can
Awesome.
someone give
You
him
can
a
still-
healing?
You can still continue
I'm not
north.
wasting the spell.
Okay.
Holy
Okay,
cow.
These guys are mercenaries, right? So
You guys at this point, remember, are closer to Ingner than you are to Lee Castle.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
Yeah.
all I'm,
Fingers
even
on
the
the
50,
way.
why don't we have them come with us? Fighting
Oh,
on the
I'm-
outside.
I do.
So here's the problem. You are short on horses at this point.
yeah.
So, whose horse was the one that got severely wounded? I forgot.
Oldred's.
Okay, but Oldrad, you healed him.
Heal
So you're-
who?
Did you heal your horse? I can't remember.
I didn't know he got hurt. I didn't get told that
He
my horse was hurt.
bandaged him.
Okay.
If my horse is hurt, I will waste a spell slot on my horse.
Okay. So you, if you want to heal your horse, just one cure spell will cover it.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, I'm out.
So let's assume then you have, each one of you guys has a horse, but if you're taking Karamina, one of you will have to have her doubled up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's clean up this first. I'll untie Anna and I'll roll up my rope and put it on my pack because that was my rope.
Okay.
I'll hand her the bag and I say, may we switch bows? This is actually your bow.
She says, sure. She hands
Okay.
you the bow.
Now, I'm going to check to see how many arrows she has.
I'll say 10.
Okay, I will take also, excuse me, and I give her a couple more silver pieces. May I take 3 of your arrows? I will buy them from you.
She says, take all the arrows you want. With this gold, we can get to Angner and I can re-outfit us.
Okay, so I'll take all 10.
Okay.
And I'll untie Hans.
Yep.
And I'll say,
he kind of like
say,
struggles to get up, and she helps him stand up, and then he
Yeah.
kind of like limps.
okay,
And she said, "Well,
guys,
y'all-"
I think we should let these 2 go.
she says, y'all have been pretty damn honorable, and I'll tell you what, put up a hell of a fight. But we're grateful that you're honoring your word and letting us go." She says,
I
if
tell
you
you-
ever make your way to Southport, there's a divey sort of little pub near the dock district called the Thirsty Whale. That's usually where we hang out.
Great. And I want to tell you that your bow is so excellent. It I could tell you the story, but it would take too long.
I
Okay.
think we need to hurry up and get
I
Yeah.
stomp my battle axe on the floor.
I'm out.
We should probably get moving.
I'm out.
Yeah.
All right.
So
who is doubling up to take Karamina?
I'm taking Karamina.
Liber? Okay. All right. So
I'll go with
Let it
Liber.
ride with Bivoj.
as you guys get, as you mount up, the gate guard goes back into his cottage and locks the door. You guys mount up, put Karamina on with Liber on his horse. You see Anna and Hans limping south towards Angner, and you guys ride off across the bridge. You get across the bridge. There is a dirt trail heading east,
Quick
and another
point.
dirt trail heading north and south.
Did we get some extra provisions from the bridge keeper?
No. I mean, you could.
Probably.
I would say he
probably
doesn't have a
wise.
he doesn't have a huge stock. There's maybe 4 days total of rations that the cottage would have in stock.
We need rations. What do we need?
Well, even just a little, even if it's just 1 or 2 sausages or something.
Okay.
Block of
I think we need
cheese.
to go. We need to get going.
It's kind of a.
All right. So again, when you went previously, you crossed the bridge and went north along the shore, and that's where you found the boat. That was quite a ways. So are you going back to that area? Are you going to go east into the foothills and the forest?
Should we try to track those footprints? How far away were those?
Yeah.
So you would need to ride up the coast for probably a half an hour until you got to where you saw those,
Footprints.
where the boat was.
What do y'all think? Should we just follow those footprints, or
Unless the witch knows which way to go.
Well,
Says,
it's
"I
probably
don't-"
toward.
She says,
West-
I don't have a means of finding them. She says, I only know that they would be heading back south towards Southport. But
We should follow
I'm
the
not
trail.
familiar with this area, and I don't know these woods or these foothills.
So are we gonna take the highway and just try and outrun them, catch them as they come in, or are we gonna try and chase them?
they're probably on the highway, I imagine. Make the fastest route.
Why
Well,
would they
since
leave
we're
the
all
forest?
going north, let's just go together.
We're going south.
Oh, we're taking her to Southport?
Well, they're going south, so we're going to try to catch the.
Catch up.
catch up.
Well,
To the people
If we
with the real
don't-
candlestick.
Mhm.
Holder.
we
So the
don't
question
catch
would
up,
be
we'll
giving
end up
chase
there
or-
anyway.
So you guys know that there's a patch of land about a little over 5 miles between where you cross the bridge and the eastern branch of the Nargan River. So imagine that 2 rivers, right? There's this river, the one that you guys just crossed, and then there's another river. Those feed into Lake Nargan, which is where Angner is. And then from there, the river goes south. So
Yes.
if they're on foot, they would have to,
Go to
either
England.
way, they'd have to cross a river. So they'd either have to cross back over this river to go to Angner, or they would have to have gone east and crossed that river. And that side is no man's land. That's
But I can't imagine. they
foothills,
wanna go
mountains,
back to
and
Anger.
low people.
If they want to get a boat to make the fastest journey, I imagine.
Right.
Okay, first off, so who's going after the candlestick? Oldrad, Bivoj, Bane,
All of you guys are.
and
Yeah.
Claude.
We're all there.
You're all there.
And oh, I thought we were going to split the party and take Carmina up to Lee Castle.
No, I don't think you
Neither?
guys had that.
No,
No.
Oh, okay.
no. Like I said, it was either tie her up and leave her here with the bridge guard, or take her with.
Okay, so
My
we're going after the
original thought was to
candlestick.
leave her there, but
So the question is, are you going to ride up river? So it's about a 10-mile ride up river to where the boat was and the tracks were.
That's what I want to do.
I think that's probably the best option.
Okay. So you guys start riding up that same route. And in short order, you pass the corpse of the Vadalat. You go past that further, and you get to where the boat was wrecked. And doesn't look like anything's changed. Who has torches?
Oh,
Okay, so a couple of you have
Restaurants.
torches. As you approach, you again find those boot prints, and they seem to head east into the woods.
Cool.
Following? All right, everybody roll a d6. Tell me if you roll a 1 or a 2.
is this good terrain for the horses?
So, I mean, you can follow the tracks on horse,
Okay.
but it's you're not at a gallop. You know what I mean? To do
Yeah.
that, you have to kind of be slow. All right, so a couple of you guys have 1s or 2s. Okay, so you are able to follow these boot prints through the dirt and through the forest. And as you guys kind of go into the forest, it does not seem like an area that is settled. You know, that you don't see any signs of like that people live here or pass through here. You follow the tracks through the forest for about 5 miles. It is like 3 a.m. by this point. You guys are
Ooh,
pretty
what-
tired. I need you to make another d6 roll, and I need to know who gets a 1 or a 2.
No.
Okay. Bane, Liber, okay. Bivoj. So you guys emerge from the forest, and you see kind of open grasslands. Again, you don't see any signs of habitation. There's no like farms or cottages or anything. And it looks like the tracks move through the grassland southeast, like towards the other river. You continue to follow. You get to basically up to the river's edge, and it looks like the tracks move into the river as if they were trying to maybe swim across.
How far across is it?
Like 200 yards. It's a pretty big river.
Is something that we could ford with the horses, or
You are pretty sure that the horses would drown. Like you could go in, but it's not a shallow river. Like
Yeah.
this is a big river, and it's got a pretty swift current. Anyone in heavy armor would be extremely challenged trying to swim this river.
Okay,
And
let's
you
head
don't
south to the
recall-
fork.
You know, the Jeffrey and the other guards that she had did not have heavy armor, and they didn't seem very like encumbered when you saw them at the Sleepy Oak Inn.
By the way, Bill, horses can normally spoken swim.
Yeah, I mean, you could try, but again,
Not in a
it's a
current.
big river, it's a deep river, and the current's moving pretty quickly.
Yeah. If they're not too encumbered, they could swim, but
Is it sand, dirt, or rock? Gravel.
It looks like the shallow, like as the water's moving, it's about 6 feet of shallow, and then it drops off into more
Someone-
of a rocky kind of bottom.
Is less tired. Could you look around and see if maybe they felled a tree and they're trying to float down on a log or something?
As you guys
Yeah, I wanna,
As you guys followed the tracks through the tall grass, there was no evidence of like a tree or branch or limb being dragged, and you didn't see any fallen trees when you were in the forest.
Just a question: how far is it to the fork of the river?
About 5 miles.
Okay, guys, let's head to the fork. There should be slower current when it enters the lake. We can either cross there, or we can, if they are in the water, we can catch them there. If they are on the other side, we can cross much easier.
Bivoj, you remember when you were in Anger and you found a local fisherman to take you across the lake so that you could
Yeah.
find your sister?
Yeah.
That is, her homestead is about 12 miles southeast of where you are right now.
oh,
Okay, guys, and we should hurry.
that's right.
Okay, so you're gonna
Trust me,
ride.
I know what I'm talking about.
You're gonna ride along the coast, along the shore, and you do for about 7 miles, and you get to a point.
Isn't
where
your
you-
sister living near here, Bivoj?
Oh, shut up! No, they've never been here.
You basically get to the tip, and you see, the current by this point has indeed slowed down as kind of the elevations leveled off a little bit, and you get to the point where you see the two rivers feeding into the lake.
Current here should be much slower.
At this point, it's I would say maybe 4 a.m. You actually see as just the ever so smallest amount of light is coming up at dawn. You see there are some fishing boats. Like, they're far away, but you could see them on the lake.
Hey! Hey!
Your words will not carry that far.
Fuck!
At this point, Anger is maybe 8 miles away to your southwest. You could, well, what do you do is the question.
When
Well,
they cross towards the side of Angner.
You don't know that. No,
No,
their tracks were crossing the eastern branch. So Bivoj posted a little picture with a circle around it in the chat, and that's basically where you were when you saw, where they were crossing in the center of his circle. That's kind of where it looks like they went into the river.
Okay.
Now you guys
Yeah.
are at the tip, basically south, looking out at Anger to the southwest, and it's just a dot on the horizon. I mean, it's
Does the water look easier to ford with the horses at this point?
You could try, but again, the horses will have a bit of a struggle, and as will
Penalty.
yeah, more because the distance of the crossing and the depth. Like the horses
Right.
will have to swim; they can't carry anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'll risk it.
Do you think they went to Agner?
No, they
Oh.
went to the east side. Angner's on the west side.
Okay.
If I would be
Huh.
running, I would steal the first fishing boat I could find and just sail towards Southport. But
You know, we
Right
need to
now-
rest.
I look to the Sarah, like very significantly. Sarah, we have, or at least I have to cross here. I don't know if you want to rest or not, but I need to cross here.
Are you going where I think you're going?
Absolutely not. Okay, I just get my chainmail or chain armor off me. Just put it on the horse. So if, in case, it would be too much weight for the horse, I can just throw it in the river.
Okay, here's a suggestion. Ride the horse into the water until it's up to your knees, and then get off the saddle, hold on to the back of the saddle, and drag and float behind the horse as it swims.
Okay, but still, I'm
if-
not a very strong swimmer, so I'm taking my chain
I know.
off.
so, you're in the process of doing that. What else are other people doing?
Who's holding the torch?
I'm holding one.
Bane has a torch. Sarah has a torch. Liber has a torch.
Give me one of them torches, please.
I'll give
I
you
handed
mine.
to Oldrad.
I take one. I
I'll
just
give you
start
mine.
waving it at one of the fishing boats.
Okay. Let me roll.
I rolled a 5 on my last 6-sider. I'm up.
I've been rolling like crap. I've been rolling high, which is great in 5e, but not here.
Okay, after about 2 minutes of doing that, you see one of the fishing boats kind of turning in your direction. Now he's kind of far away, so it takes about 15 minutes, and he kind of gets about 50 feet away from the shore. And you know, you see him, and there's 2 other guys on the fishing boat, and they kind of are, you know, pulling up near the shore, and they look out, and one of the guys says, like, "Oh there."
Hello. Could we perhaps pay for a crossing for a few of us to the east side?
Yes. My boat's not big enough for horses. You'd have to ride up to the Nargan Bridge. It's quite a few miles up that side. But
Well, we could
probably take four of you.
Well, we could split the party, and then whoever stays behind can take the extra horses and go. You know, we can have a group cross now to try and head them down.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'll take care of the horses. I tell you, I'm about knackered. I mean,
I haven't heard that word in years.
I know.
Okay. So, who wants to go on the boat? Okay.
Looks like we got 4.
So the man will take you across the lake for 5 silver pieces each. All right.
Okay.
Once you pay him, they pull the boat up as close as possible. You guys kind of ford into the water, and they pull you up onto the boat. The rest of you grab the reins to the other horses and begin heading back up the eastern shore to the bridge, and then crossing the bridge, and then heading back towards Agner, right? Let's do the boat people first. So you guys are on the boat. The fisherman says, "So where do you want me to take you? Across the lake to the eastern side?"
Correct.
Okay. So he turns the boat around, sails catch the wind, and you start going across the lake. The other group,
just a second.
Yeah.
As it took so long to get to the fishermen to get there, I'm trying to cross the river, like the Sarah said, just with the chainmail on the horse.
Okay, so you're trying to cross the river to go to Angner.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like cross
Wait,
the river
you're
to the east side, just to
Okay.
through
You're
the river.
swimming with your horse?
Of course.
Rip.
Okay.
You know, we're gonna go to
So
the bridge.
I'm gonna have you make 2 rolls.
Been nice knowing you.
First
brother
roll.
Bivoj.
The first roll is going to be for your horse. So roll a d20.
Okay, that's natural one.
Okay, so your horse has no problem getting across. Now you roll a d20.
That's a 5.
Okay. You get to the other side, and you're in the rocky foothills just west of the mountain. And you figure it is about maybe 7 miles to where your sister's homestead is.
Yeah, I just put my chainmail on, maybe as they are crossing the river on the boat,
Okay.
and then I'll just continue.
So the people going with the horses, you have a further journey because you have to go back up to the bridge and then cross the bridge and then come back down to Angner. So you are in the process of doing that. At a certain point, when you get to Angner, you see that like the gate guards at the north gate have not opened the gate yet. It's close to like maybe 6 a.m., let's say. And you see, there's a few tents and stuff, people camped outside of the gates. And amongst them, you see there's like a campfire, and you see Anna and Hans sitting with like a group of other travelers near a campsite, waiting for the gates to open.
I'm going to go over to Anna and Hans. I'm just going to say, hey,
They're like, what are you doing here?
it's a long story. Do you guys have a tent set up here, or I just need somewhere to lay down?
She says, nope, but guards should be opening up the gates pretty soon. Sunrise is already coming.
I'll just sit down and try to get some rest.
Okay. Smash
Maybe
cut back to the boat.
Lean against Hans or something.
The fishing boat gets to the eastern side of the lake. And the fisherman's like, well, there you go. And he just kind of gestures, and there's a few little sparse trees here and there, some tall grass, but you don't see anything that looks really inhabited.
Yeah. Thanks, boys. Clap him on the shoulder, and I get on the
Thank you.
get on the shore.
He jangles the coins that you guys gave him. So those of you who took the boat, you guys jump out into the shallows and trudge through until you're on dry land.
Yeah.
About this time, you hear the sound of a horse, and you look kind of off to your left, to the north, and you see Bivoj on his horse, kind of galloping through the tall grass. Bivoj, you see 4 of your comrades walking onto land.
Okay, guys. You'll be waiting for the horse or what? For the horses or what?
By the gods, how did you cross that river?
Don't ask me. My father was a strong swimmer.
Well,
Me, not so
met, my
much, but
friend.
I've got some streaks. Well, guys, there is definitely not a settlement about 7 miles south, so I'll meet you there, okay? Bye. And I'm riding south.
All right, are you guys following Bivoj?
Head
I'm-
south.
It's actually more southeast, so it's kind of inland, and it sort of turns a little green. Like there's more, little more like tall grass and
Find some
vegetation,
sort of tracks on the way
bushes and
there.
trees. All of you can roll a d6 to see if you pick up any other tracks.
Including me or just the guys without the horses?
Well, you're just riding to your sister's
Yeah, okay.
homestead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Oldrad, as you're kind of following Bivoj, you see through the tall grass, in a line, some trampled grass, and you kind of lean in closer and look with your torch, and you could see boot prints. But it looks like they're marching single file, so it's almost hard to make out their numbers.
Right. A signal to the others.
Ironically, heading in a similar direction as Bivoj was heading. Like heading south and east.
Mm-hmm.
The sad people.
Follow the tracks, and I
we
let
have.
I let the guys know.
Okay. So you guys continue. Smash cut back to Anger. Those of you waiting at the gates, the gate guards open the gates. People start to rouse from their camps, and they start to move into town. So let's see, who all is there? Sarah and Leonard?
Yeah.
And
I try to poke into Sarah. Hey, Sarah, can you help me wrangle up the horses? We have like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Just to be
I'm
clear,
getting up.
you guys also have Karamina Nicolo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you rouse, you bring the horses in, you go to an inn, I assume, in Anger, and bring your horses to the stables. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You take Karamina off the last horse. Her hands are still bound behind her. She looks pretty rough. You notice that the stable boy looks kind of curiously at this arrangement that you have.
I'll tip him five copper.
How much is it for all the horses?
He says, 1 silver per horse, sir.
Okay, so yeah, I pull into my bag and give him double and say, "You saw nothing."
Of course, thank you, sir. And he nods and bows, and then he takes the horses into the stables.
Okay, so I guess
Karamina looks at you, Sarah, and she says, "Might we be able to acquire a room? I would like to also bathe.
Well,
sleep."
we're taking you to Lee Castle, so that'll be up to Trent and Lee. Okay, so
While
don't
we're
ask me.
here in Anger,
Just don't ask me anything.
she says, "Very well, Sarah, Florian, and Marjit."
I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm pissed off with you. I'm pissed off with Katarina. I'm pissed off not knowing about my family.
I can tell you about your family.
Yet don't, because
She smiles, almost delighting in taunting.
Yeah, I know. I hate that smile. Do not show me that smile again. Yeah, you're showing it to me. I'm just so done with you. I'm walking ahead to Lee Castle. You take care of her, guys.
So Leonard,
well,
you are also exhausted. Do you want to get a room at an inn in Anger? Or are you just going to... Okay. So you go just next to the stables. There's an inn.
Yeah.
You go into the inn. The innkeeper's rousing. You smell breakfast. It smells delightful. You ask him for a room, and he tells you that he has rooms available. And you give him 2 silver pieces, and he gives you a key.
Yeah. The what's her name? Katrina? No.
Karamina.
Yeah. Stayed with me probably, or
I'm
is she
assuming
running?
that I'm assuming that you have custody of Karamina.
Yeah. So yeah. I say also to the can we get some hot water to clean up?
Oh yes, sir. I can draw water for a bath. Yes.
Okay. So
He says,
can it
"Let
be
me show
done?
you the bathhouse." And he takes you outside
Yeah.
the backyard. There's a small wooden shed with a bathtub and a little fire. And he takes some of the coals and puts them under this tub.
Yeah.
And he puts a big kettle of water onto this stove that's on top of the fireplace.
Okay.
It should be ready in just a few moments, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Smash cut
Yep.
back to Bivoj. On horseback, you arrive at your sister's homestead. And you see it looks quite empty.
Okay. As I see the homestead from fair distance, I try to get down from my horse and maybe like look around if I see anything like maybe that there is some trampled grass where it should not be, or if the doors are barged open, or
Okay, you approach the farmstead, and it doesn't look like anybody's been here. Like, you don't see any of the livestock that your sister and her husband had. You don't see, like, there's none of the farm equipment's there. However, you do see smoke coming out of the chimney, indicating that there is perhaps a fire inside, though you don't see any light from candles or a lantern.
Okay. In that case, I'll probably try to get some more info, like try to look around.
Okay, the barn
Is it possible that they already left, or is it possible that they are maybe hiding in the barn? Or...
Okay, you go to the barn. The barn is empty. There's no tools. There's no cart. There's no wagon. There's no hay.
In that case, I'll probably go around the house, not to be seen from the windows.
Okay, you're off your horse, right?
I'm off my horse. The horse is somewhere on way back where I came from.
Okay, roll a d6. Tell me what you get.
Okay, d6. I got 2.
Okay, you make your way around the house. It looks like the yard hasn't been taken care of. There are a lot of weeds that have grown up around it.
I'm just trying to like listen if I hear some voices or whatever. Maybe some heavy steps or something in that category.
You hear some talking from inside of the house.
I presume I don't recognize those voices.
No. It sounds like the voices of men.
Okay, in that case, I'll get the hell out of there and I'll just wait for my comrades.
Okay. All right. A short
maybe to hide somewhere like around the barn or somewhere just where I would not be seen.
Okay. A short time later, the rest of you guys see, kind of on the path that you're following, you see a farmstead. You see a barn. and a farmhouse and some fencing that would lead you to believe that maybe they had livestock, but you don't see any livestock. And you see Bivoj and his horse behind the barn. Bivoj, you see the rest of your group approaching on foot.
And just to be clear, we're still following the tracks. We still see them.
Yep. And just to be clear as well, the tracks were not like a straight line. Like they headed south and then they headed west and then they headed south. So it kind of looked more like, yeah, like they, not as if maybe they weren't going to a specific location, but they definitely lead you to this farmstead.
Head over to
We
Bivoj.
see Bivoj kind of motioning, or
Yeah, Bivoj kind of motions you guys over, and as you approach, you're behind the barn. So you guys
We're right
get
next to you, Bivoj.
Oh, okay. They are there. I've heard some men's voices that I don't know. This is definitely not my family's farmstead. So,
Oh, it's definitely your family's farmstead. But you didn't see any evidence of your family being there.
I'm just not telling them. I'm just telling them this is
Okay.
definitely not my family's farmstead.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Yes. Okay.
how many entrances are there to the cottage? Is it one entrance, two entrances?
There is just a front door. There are a few windows, but the shutters are closed.
I think is it a thatched roof or
Yeah, it's a
Wooden
pretty simple
shingles
wooden building with a thatched roof.
Well,
Okay,
Bane,
guys,
what do you think? Front door?
fire to the roof.
Let's not burn
Let's-
down the cottage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Just barge in.
No.
Fuck that! My family is probably not here already. So let's.
Who knows?
Let's.
They could be tied up, and then we'll kill your family. So let's
I prefer the straight
hold off
approach.
on that.
We can just pretend that we smoke them out. Like we can burn some hay on the ground, maybe. In that case,
let's try front door first.
I'm okay. I get my greatsword out.
Okay. Bane?
Battle axe.
Basi- yeah, I would say basically kick the door and just let Critter run up first.
Okay, guys. One more thing. One more thing.
Better.
Wait in front of the house. I presume there is only one entrance.
Yeah, the front of the house.
Let's wait here. Just prepare your weapons. And be careful, you doggy. I run around the house. And as I'm at the very back of the house, I yell, "They are here! Let's storm them out!
Okay, you guys hear Bivoj yell that.
Burn the roof! Burn the roof!"
Bivoj, the shutters on one of the windows on the back of the house fly open.
I'm running around. I'm not here!
You
I'm starting to run towards the door.
Same.
Go,
All right.
go!
everybody roll a d6.
I'm looking towards Bane.
Bivoj. Armor class 19.
Oh shit.
Aren't you hurt?
Yeah, I'm
Boy,
pretty
really?
hurt.
You are shot.
Oh.
Ooh, for 6 damage.
Oh.
Damn.
You are shot in the back as you're running away.
Ooh, hurts.
Rip.
By a bolt from a crossbow. All right, so Bane. All right, so Bane, Liber, Claude. What did you have?
I got a 6 and Critter got a 5.
Okay. Claude, you and Critter are running up to the front door?
Yep.
Okay, you make it to the front door. It is locked.
All right.
I
We're
shoulder
gonna
check the door.
Shoulder
Okay.
the door.
Bane. You're up.
Oh,
So you're
I was
running
just
up to
gonna
the
kick-
front door as well. You
Yes,
see Claude.
Indeed.
The door is locked. What do you do?
Kick it.
Make a strength roll under.
15 under 18.
You kick it hard. You hear wood splinter, but it seems to be secure. Liber.
By the way, Bill, I wasn't trying the door handle. I was just shouldering the door.
Okay, make a strength roll under.
It's that one. That's a 5 against my 18, so that's way under.
Okay, more of the wood splinters, but it's still not open. Liber.
Is there a window?
There are 2 windows, but they have wooden shutters that are closed at this point.
So I'm just gonna be facing one of the windows in case they open up while they're trying to knock the door. I don't think I'm gonna have an entrance to the door.
Okay, holding your action. What
Yeah.
weapon do you have?
Rapier.
Okay. All right, Oldrad.
Let's see if we can get the door open. 10 under my 18 strength.
Crash. After the third slam, the door cracks open.
If it's large enough, Critter will just jump through. And...
Well, he will next round, but this round, Oldrad,
Yes.
22 to hit, which does penetrate your
Yep.
armor. You are shot for
For
4
how much?
damage. 4 damage.
Okay. So I'm at 19.
And I see where the bolt came from.
It came from inside. Like, so basically you guys were like, and then Oldrad's like, and he breaks through and he's like, ah, like,
Damn.
the window. Okay, so one of the shutters opens up. Liber, you held your action. So as the shutter kind of opens up, and you see a guy with a crossbow leaning out to shoot out towards the guys that are at the door. But you held your action, so you can lunge out and stab him first. So go ahead and make your attack roll.
All right. 10.
Get him with the pointy end.
10 is not enough.
Yeah.
He kind of
Will it
sees,
also get a surprise
kind of looks
chance?
over and sees you coming and turns and fires his crossbow at you. Wow, I am just on fire today. 18 hit.
Does Liber also get a surprise chance on that attack, or?
Yeah, but even with a bonus, that wouldn't have hit.
Okay.
was the
So an
damage?
18 does hit, so that is only 1 point of damage.
Nickja.
Yeah, you basically disrupted his move, and he just kind of tried to get a shot off, and just it grazes you. All right, Bivoj. You come around the corner. You're on the side of the farmhouse now, and you hear the stuff going on up front.
I just run in front of the house and I'm pretty sure I'm aiming my my longbow to the window that the guy was in.
Okay, so you run around the corner of the house. You see one guy who just fired a crossbow at Liber. He's the only person that you can see within your sights.
Yeah, take it, you fucker.
All right, you're gonna shoot him.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll.
That's okay. 21.
That's a hit. What's the damage?
6 damage.
Oof. Okay, duly noted. All right, back up to the top. Claude.
Yep.
Door is burst open. Oldrad's just inside.
Yeah, just clambering back through the door as well,
Okay.
and just run up to anyone that's inside and just get my sword and take a chop.
To your left, you see a guy poking out one of the front windows. That's
Probably
just
another guy
beyond
I'm going to
him,
go after.
You see another guy who was shooting out one of the back windows. Then you see a guy facing you who looks like he's in the process of dropping a crossbow and pulling out a sword.
And he's probably somewhere around in the middle distance.
Yes.
So that's probably the one I'm going after.
Okay.
Being basically straight in front of me and close.
What weapon are you going?
I got my single-handed sword.
Okay, so you pull out your sword and you rush him. Go ahead and make your attack.
That's the other one. That's a 19. So
that will hit. What's the damage?
Let's see. That's my sword. That's an 8. Nope. Only 2. Plus, yeah, just 2.
Okay. He kind of sort of deflects your attack, but you still cut him. Critter is in attack mode, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an attack roll on this guy for Critter.
That's a 9. Plus 2.
Critter
11.
like lunges and kind of tries to, lunge at his leg, but the guy kind of moves aside. Bane. Yep. Bane, you're up.
Can I see anyone's exposed arm with a crossbow and it coming out of the window? I'm going to try to hack at it.
Okay, so just say front window or back window.
Front window.
Okay, so you run to the guy at the front window. Go ahead.
That's a 26.
That's definitely a hit. How much damage?
4.
Front window guy takes 4 more and cries out in pain as you carve into his arm. All right, that brings us to Liber.
I'm assuming I could still attack the guy through the window?
Oh yeah, he's being attacked on the inside now at this point.
13.
13? Miss. You lunge out. He kind of ducks to the side, being attacked from 2 sides. Well, actually, no, you hit.
Okay. 1d8. Hold on. Apology, give me 1 second.
Oldrad, you're on deck.
4.
4 more. This guy's just getting shot and stabbed from many directions. Oldrad, you're up.
There's 4 occupants.
No.
Right,
you see 3. There's the guy that's at the front window who's just getting slammed. The guy at the back window, and then the guy in the middle of the room that Claude and Critter just went to attack.
Okay. I try to go and run through the guy at the back window.
Okay.
Nope, that's a 9.
He turns and kind of ducks as you lunge out with your big sword for a swing. And that brings us to them. He is going to turn, dropping his crossbow and swinging his longsword at you, which will, I believe, hit with an 18. Yes.
I think so.
For 3 damage.
Okay.
You feel a burning sensation. No, I'm just kidding. All of their blades are coated in poison. Okay, the guy in the front window who's just being attacked on both flanks is going to turn and focus on Bane because Bane seems like a more deadly target. Does a 15 hit Bane?
No, it does not.
His sword ricochets off your armor, and he has a very unhappy, crestfallen look on his face. Guy number 3 is going to attack you, Claude.
The fact that I have to wait to counter is so frustrating.
Claude does no, 14 does not hit you, Claude.
Nope.
He swings and just does not connect. This brings us to Bivoj.
I presume I see the guy in the window.
No, well, you did, and you shot him, but then Liber moved in to attack him. So if you shoot, you could still try to get off a shot, but just know that if you roll a 1, you are definitely going to shoot Liber.
Not only that I'm going to shoot the guy, I'm aiming for the head.
Go ahead and make that roll.
Okay, guys, pray for the dice. Ooh, the cold shot is -5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 24.
Jeez.
24 minus 5. Do you mean 19? What is your total bonus?
For the longbow, it's +3.
Yeah.
For the ranged, +8. I'm not sure if it's with or without the dexterity bonus. I think not. So,
yeah.
And I rolled 18. So 18 minus 5, it's 13. +8 +3.
Okay.
It's 24.
Okay.
Whoa.
And I rolled 5 damage.
Okay, that hurts. He is very...
Like when I saw the 1 on the D20, I was shocked, and then I see the 8 behind it. I was like, yes.
Yes. Okay, this brings us back to Claude.
Mm-hmm. Probably not. That's 12.
That is not enough. Roll for for Critter.
Critter gets a 7.
Nope.
We're not doing too well.
Bane. This guy looks very wounded.
I hold
got
my
an
great
arrow
axe up.
sticking out of his head.
I hold my great axe up close to my face, and I say, "Strike true, my friend." And then I roll for the death kill. Unnatural 20. And 7 on the damage dice.
I guess they don't call him the butcher for nothing.
You carve through him, and he is instantly dead. He just drops. You slam him so hard that your axe is embedded in his chest, and he just falls to the ground.
I start rummaging through him for trophies.
Well, this brings us to Liber. So you see Bane's axe drop the guy that you were leaning in to attack. Do you want to move into the building?
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of leave the window, run in through the door. You do see Oldrad engaged in combat with one of the guys. You do see Claude and Critter engaged in combat with another guy.
Can I also attack in this run?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to whichever one's closest to me.
Okay, so
that will be my guy.
Yeah. So
16.
you move up, you hit, roll that damage.
Right. 1.
Okay. Now that brings us to Oldrad.
Go for the swing. That's a lot better. Natural 19 on the die. It's 2.
That's definitely a hit. Roll that big two-handed sword damage.
10. 4. Almost 10.
Okay. You carve a big chunk out of him, and he cries out in pain, but then he's going to attack because it's their turn. He attacks you and misses.
Thank you.
Claude. You are hit again for 4 damage.
What's his attack?
The longsword.
Yeah, but his
Oh,
What did you roll?
I had a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that's still gonna hit. Okay. So if I parry, then my bonus would be up to 21, but 22 would still hit then.
So you take 4. All right. Bivoj. Nobody in the window. You can move up to the window and shoot somebody inside if you want, but remember that your comrades are also engaged in combat with them.
I run to the window, shouting, "Die already!" And I try to shoot one of those guys.
Go ahead, roll.
Okay. $22.
Hit. Roll damage.
4.
4 more. Are you... Let's see. Okay. All right. This brings us to Claude and Critter.
Yep. See if I can hit this time. Nope. Definitely not. Critter gets a 1.
Critter yelps in frustration. All right. Bane. Pulling your axe out of the chest cavity of the fallen guard, you can turn and run over towards the one that Oldrad is fighting, or towards the one that Claude and Liber and Critter are fighting.
Who looks, of the enemy, who looks the most healthy?
The Claude guy.
I'll go help Claude.
Okay.
Swing my great axe. And that is a 12 plus 7, that's 19.
That is a hit. What's the damage?
4.
Noted. He yelps in pain. This brings us to Liber. Same guy.
Okay. At this point, can I turn and still hit the guy Oldrad? Because we have 3 against 1 over here, and
Yeah, you can move over there. It's within like 10 feet.
all right, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna 14.
That is a hit. Damage?
2.
2 more. Okay. This now brings us to Oldrad. Liber's joined your force.
Holding my action in response to an attack, and I shout at them, "Surrender and live!"
Make a charisma roll under.
Oh, that's cool. My charisma is abysmal with a 6. And I rolled a 16.
He does not surrender, but rather he swings.
Okay. Well, I said I was holding my action if they were to do that. So.
Yep.
I don't know can I swing?
Yeah, he misses, but
Okay.
go ahead.
13? Does that hit?
No.
Okay.
Claude.
Yep. Let's see what happens.
So let me see.
God.
I have to roll who this attack is. So 1, 2, Critter, 3, 4, Claude, 5, 6, Bane. Critter. How many hit points does Critter have? Because
9.
he took 6.
Ouch.
The main
Really
man
heavy.
stabs your doggy really hard. It's just slashes
Get
him with a
Critter the
long
hell out of here, please.
Critter
Bane.
jumps away, yelping in pain. This brings us to Bivoj.
As I see the guy stabbing Critter, I'm aiming for his head.
Okay, make another roll.
Okay. Oh, fuck, this will be so bad.
-4.
Try not to shoot critter.
18.
How's that bad?
I rolled 11 on my attack.
You hit. Damage.
Okay, damage 5.
Okay. Ah! He yells. All right, back to Claude.
Yep. See how my dice are rolling now. Come on. That's better. That's a 26.
Yes.
6 damage.
Nice.
Ooh.
Finally.
Ooh. That is
Get some.
that is a hard hit, and he yells in pain, but he's still up. All right, Critter is retreating. Bane,
Yeah.
you're up.
Who's closest to me? Oh, the guy that I'm already engaged with. Let me finish this sucker off. Oh, 14.
That just hits.
Oh, good.
Damage?
2.
Bam, bam. He's just getting hit all around. Liber.
All right. Let's see. 14.
That's a hit. Damage?
1.
Okay. Oldrad.
Here we go swinging again. 13 again.
Let me make a roll. Roll damage.
Okay. 5.
You hit him. He drops his sword and falls back against the wall, very wounded. And he says, I surrender. Please don't kill me.
I don't kill him.
Is that because he was already injured, Bill?
He's injured. Yeah. I mean, they're both at this point very.
I mean, is that why his AC lowered?
Yeah. He's like basically he'll die unless he receives medical attention. This brings us to Bivoj.
I see the only standing guy. So
No, there's two.
uh,
The guy that Bane and Claude are fighting, and then the guy that just surrendered, who Liber and Oldrad are fighting.
yes, I mean the one that's still fighting. I tried to shoot him.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Oh my god. That's if I'm counting right, this is 30.
Okay, damage.
1.
One, two, three, Bane. 4, 5, 6, Claude. He swings out at you for 5 more damage. You are at the top of the order. So, Claude, it's your turn.
All right. See if I can strike him again. 24.
Hit.
And that's 2 damage.
He is
Stupid me.
he actually looks almost worse than the other guy. Bane.
Rolling d6s instead of d8s. Dumbass.
Oh, well.
I think I've been playing wrong. I thought I was still level 3, and I have not been applying any of my fighter bonuses. Because I was curious as to how the hell Bivoj's got so many bonuses.
Yeah, you guys are level 4. So you definitely should look on the chart to see what that
Okay, I'll just keep playing the way I've been playing for today because it seems to be working fine, and then we'll fix it after that.
Okay.
I'm going to try to finish this guy. 26.
Yes.
And that's a 6.
All right, now he's dead. Once again, your axe carves into this guy's back, and he just plummets to the ground. I want you to make a percentile roll and tell me what the roll is.
I'm just looking for the other half of the percentile die. There you go.
You can roll 2 10s to just designate which one's which.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got a 50 and a 1. What does that mean?
51. Okay, 51 it is. You feel something. You, in this combat with your axe, you felt something inside of you, like under the surface. Like more than just adrenaline. You felt like what you were doing somehow had more purpose for some reason, though you don't know why.
Yes.
Other than the gargling breath of the last guy who surrendered, and we are basically out of initiative at this point. He's slumped up against the wall, blood, kind of coughing, blood coming out of his mouth, multiple injuries. It's quiet. And he kind of sputters and he's like, I surrender. And you guys, in this moment, you recognize him. He was one of the guards at the Sleepy Oak Inn, and as were the other two. They were guards who were also at the Sleepy Oak Inn with Karamina. However, there are only 3 of them. And as you're looking, you wonder, where is Jeffrey? The 4th guard. And you will wonder that until the next episode of the Lamenters, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, for liking and subscribing. And of course, thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon for your support. And we will see you on the next episode. Happy gaming.
Well, hello, and welcome to Blayne Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.